Heads, GKM Gaming here with another LEGO Legacies Unboxed video for you. Today we're going to continue our series taking a bit of a deep dive into the Imperial units in light of the Tyranny of Justice event, or the Brick Space event that's going on. And I want to look at my favorite unit of the Imperials right now, who I think is going to be the best Imperial unit, probably has the most plug-and-play viability, Admiral Nonsuch. Let's get right into it by looking at his tags. He's got the classic Explorer Pirate tags. He's a support unit. He's the only support unit that the Imperials have, and boy is he really important. He's got the Imperial tag, great synergy with the Eldorado Fortress. On top of that, great synergy with Valiant, as we saw in the last video. Valiant really synergizes very, very well with the Imperials. It gives them some broken buffs, like dodgy and prepared. And he's got the Justice tag, which I feel like is a bit of a downside, as I think the Justice tag works against them. Lucky for the Imperials, only Nonsuch, the Koi, and Valiant have the Justice tag, so it's not too harmful to the squad. Let's get right into this awesome unit with his basic. Deals 100% damage to a target foe, 20% bonus damage for each buff on the target. So while this might not be that great against Buccaneers, who are not really about buffing themselves, they're more about the debuffs, it's really good against castle teams like King's Court, where they're buffing insane amounts. And it's pretty good against Ninjago teams, because Ninjago, as soon as Wu comes into the meta, is going to be very relevant, and they do put a lot of buffs on each other. The cool thing about this is it doesn't cap out. So if somebody has 10 buffs on them, that's an extra 200% damage. Now he's doing 300% damage on a basic attack. Now, granted, you don't see somebody with 10 buffs all the time, but when you're facing those Jester Go-Go's and those Barnabases, they do tend to stack tons of buffs on them. He's a buff killer, right? So if you have somebody who is you're buffing a lot, he's going to be able to really target them down with just his basic. This is something you use every turn. Next, we have his first special, Ship Shape. Deals 130% damage to the target foe and clears 1 debuff from Nonsuch. So if you're just looking for big damage, it's his highest base damage attack. It's not bad. 130% damage, it's going to hit pretty hard, and it can cleanse a debuff from him, so never a bad thing to be doing that. I don't think it's his best. It's probably his worst ability, but all his abilities are really, really good, so that's not saying much. Here's one of my favorites, which I actually hated this ability, Nowhere to Run. So in the campaign, I used to get hit with this ability all the time, like, wow, it's so weak. Pretty much it's a useless AoE. AoEs suck. And then I actually read what it does. So against a regular team, like I run Pirates, and Buccaneers more specific, I don't use stealth, so it deals 50% damage to all foes. If you're under stealth, which we know that a meta team, Ninjago, will be under all stealth as soon as Master Wu comes out especially, you're dealing 100% damage to all foes that you hit. So that's 100% AoE. Anytime you can do full damage on an AoE, thumbs up. That's going to be really good for you. Also, it's going to be good for taking down those highwaymen, really trying to snipe them down. The thing I really hate about highwayman is facing him anyway. He does so much damage, and it's very hard to focus him down, because by the time you can only get one turn to try to focus him down, and unless you disarm him or stun him or take him out in that one turn, he's going back under stealth. But if you can get him down pretty low and he gets back under stealth, now Nonsuch is going to be able to finish him off with a 100% damage attack. His passive, I feel like, is a little underwhelming. It's really great. He's got a chance to gain debuff immunity for one turn, and it happens every turn, but it's only a 30% chance. So it's like, oh man. When I think about passives like Hikers, which has a much higher percentage, and that doesn't even proc as often as I'd like it to. I'd like it to proc every turn. I feel like this is just not doing it for me. I wish it was at least a 50% chance. The 30% chance is very low. And lastly, his ultimate is a self-heal, which he heals 100% of his max health and inflicts buff immunity on all foes for 2 turns. So I don't know what's the bigger part of that. The 100% heal, which he's the only unit in the game who can heal 100% of his health in 1 turn, which is pretty awesome, or the buff immunity. It's going to counter Castle, it's going to counter Ninjago, right? Castle's not going to be able to taunt, Ninjago's not going to be able to go under stealth. It just opens things up for the rest of the Imperials to come and lay waste to your enemies. Also, the animation on this is the single greatest animation in the game because he goes inside this boat and Private Laterrible carries him across the screen, and it's the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. Unfortunately, I don't have his max stats available to me, so this could be another case of Hake where I feel like the stats are a little underwhelming and don't go with the abilities. But just looking at his abilities, I think Nonsuch is going to be a very big part of the Imperial team. I honestly think him and Valiant are going to be the backbones of that squad. Your tank and support, obviously. They'll be like the Jester, Go-Go, Burnibus. They're going to be a pretty deadly combo when working with each other. He has some synergy with the Eldorado Fortress. I know when his health goes below 50, he gives a random Imperial debuff immunity. On top of that, he gives it to LaCoy too. So he's got a really good synergy with the Imperials. I'm super excited for this unit. Probably not going to go balls to the wall and build him, but you know, I'm just glad to have him in the game. I want to see some variety in Arena, and I think bringing the Imperials into the fold is going to give people who haven't built Pirates yet and are really frustrated with them and also want to get their Ninjago team built up for the Master Wu event, might give them a chance to quickly build Imperials because of this event. You can get probably an all 5-star Imperial team pretty easily if you're constantly doing this event. Maybe put a little cash into it as well. Well, that's all I got for you today on Admiral Nonsuch. Please let me know what you think in the comments. Do you think Nonsuch is going to be the unit of the Imperials? Do you think he could be a plug-and-play unit that can just go with any old squad? Let me know. As always, please remember to smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that little bell for some notifications, and do remember to knuckle up.
She blocked me on Instagram, Snapchat, I don't give a damn about that. I can see your face, still feel the same. I don't feel the need to